Welcome back, folks. Homeland Security. A new report from the Department of Homeland Security reports a migrant wave of undocumented Cubans are now flooding Texas. The president is dead set on closing Guantanamo Bay just as former detainees are arrested in Spain and Morocco. And how concerned should we be with this new Zika virus? The Zika virus, let's cover that real quickly as part of our Homeland Security. More and more people are being infected with this every day. It's coming from Central and South America. It seems to be, once again, that a lot of these diseases are coming from places where we're allowing people to come into the country.
Where they have no restrictions on medical problems like that.
At what point do we admit that we're just trying to commit suicide by 1,000 lashes here, Maureen?
Well, I think it starts from the top. The leadership in any country starts from the top. And if you have a government that doesn't care what happens to its people, that's what you're having right now. Now, I've been criticized for this in many areas, that I'm being too conservative, too nationalistic. Well, I don't know what you call it. Yeah, far right wing. And I'm telling you that this is a situation now that's being allowed to happen because either the White House doesn't care, or the White House deliberately, and I can't prove that, but I have a feeling that deliberately would like to bring America down a few pegs so that we're just another country like every other country.
And we've said this over and over and over for years now, that if you notice that the migrants and the flood always happens to end up in Texas. Because if they can turn Texas blue, they've changed the political dynamics forever.
Yeah, I don't think that is a manifest program. It just works out that way. You're right. You got the People's Republic of California, People's Republic of Illinois, and the People's Republic of New York. And once you have those, which we have in this country today, you're starting off with a third of all the electoral votes needed to elect a president.
Do you think that a Donald Trump candidacy puts those states back in play?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so this president is going to close Guantanamo Bay, whether it's empty or full, one way or another. He's going to do it. Come nook or crook, he's going to do it. Right on the heels of us learning about these detainees, one of them was Osama bin Laden's bodyguard, going back into the battlefield and actually being arrested in Spain and Morocco. Does the GOP have the stomach to fight him on Gitmo?
I think right now the establishment, as they're called, are not going to do much other than trying to fight a holding action until the election. I think the Senate has to pass it and will be overridden by the veto. I mean, they will not be they will not override the veto. The veto will fail.
And do you think that he would like to give this he's going to Cuba and he's making
he's making all
kinds of
yeah, to a lot of people, they think they're opening up this country. It's about time. They have no understanding that the Castroite influence is still very much in control there.
Oh, absolutely. And do you think that would be a gift to the Castro brothers if he could give Guantanamo Bay back? And, you know, if you look at the reports of it, it's like a country club. These guys are not being waterboarded and tortured like the leftists would like us to believe.
They're just being kept out of the United States. That's what they are. They're down to about 100 and less than 100. And they're talking about Fort Leavenworth. I was talking yesterday to a friend of mine from Kansas who's scared to death that they're going to send a whole bunch of them to Fort Leavenworth in Kansas.
And then they've got to get lawyers, and there's the ACLU and the Southern Poverty Law Center and all these other people.
You know, you almost,
then they're going to grieve their dirty laundry about America and how bad we are and all this and that.
You almost wonder whether we can afford these democratic institutions in this day and age.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, we're fighting this horror that is wanting to descend on us with the old, tired organizations that say every person is really good until you can prove them to be bad.
Right. Versus trying to take on the secure side of things and make sure that the people are screened.
It takes a horrible major incident like 9/11, and even that wears out after a couple of months.
Yeah. Chobani yogurt. I know this is probably going to catch people a little bit off guard, but they have a plant in Idaho, and one of the founders and the owner, the CEO of the company, was born in Turkey and is Muslim, has Islamist roots, and he is facilitating the bringing in of refugees from Syria and Iraq and putting them in his plant. There's some 600 people there that work there, and I think over 300 of them are refugees from the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Basically taking jobs from Americans, number one. I mean,
Sure.
There's a litany of, a laundry list of things that I could say about this. What is your take on someone being able to bring into this country refugees from anywhere and take American jobs?
I would close the door right now. I think how many refugees went to Saudi Arabia? How many refugees went to Kuwait? How many refugees went to other Arab countries?
And they had to pass right by those countries to go to Europe, so it's not like they could have stopped.
The only country kind of got, and they deserve it, because Turkey's been playing this double game ever since Erdogan got in there, and he's a bad guy, because he's trying to act like he's civilized, but he plays...
By the way, I don't know if people remember this. We talked about this when it happened, but our president looks up to him and said that that's how he wants to... He's a role model for his daughters. That's what he would like to instill in them. So you can take that where you want it.
Erdogan, if you go back to the late 20th centuries, 1970s, 80s, and so on, the military stepped in every time there was a guy like that. The Justice and Development Party that now is in there, Erdogan was put in jail for a long time, and then the two realistic parties that they had fought each other. And they fought each other to a standstill, and then he just came in and took over, because as the population of Turkey increased, they're up to about 80 million, they started all voting for Erdogan, and the country got dumbed down from being a good, solid country that was our friend.
A member of NATO.
Not only a member of NATO, but they fought for us in the Korean War and were the best fighters of all. But the military no longer has any power in Turkey. They're told what to do now, and it's a terrible shame.
So we don't like to call for boycotts. That's not what we like to do. But we do like to point out inconsistencies, hypocrisies, and things that we think go against the national interest of America. And I think there's a lot of yogurt choices out there. And if you could buy a different brand other than Chobani, you should do it.
These people are not equipped to handle things here in the United States. Do you know how many people we have coming in legally every year into this country?
Oh, it's over 1 million or 2 million.
No, it's 5 to 7 million. Legal. I'm not talking about people over the border. The situation over the border from Mexico isn't really that bad in the last year or so. We have the
40% of the people that are here that shouldn't be here are here on visas.
Yes, there are people that have come in and been settled permanently
through the front door.
Why do you think we've doubled our population since 1960? I'll bet you very few people know that in 1960 we had 160 million people. Today we have over 325 million.
It's not because the American people are populating.
No,
we're not.
We're not populating like Africa or some of the lower South American countries. The fact is we're bringing people in, and the other Europeanized type of countries are losing people because they're not they're not
repopulating. It's a negative population rate. We need to take a short pause. Our political insider and the moment in history are straight ahead. Again, if you missed any segments, just go to YouTube and search Maury Beschloss.